I'm ill as fuck, feels like I've swallowed sandpaper, I can't hear out my left ear, and I've worked 5 of the last 6 nights over Christmas. And Happy New Year! Hi guys, it's me Steven and welcome back to the channel. It's been 2 weeks since The Last Jedi came out and I held off on making a review because... Alright, that's a lie, I couldn't be bothered. I did a Twitter poll about a week ago asking if I should make this video and the resounding answer was yes. As long as I make a 5 best things video as well. Anyways, opening monologue is done, time for the stuff you're here for. You've seen the title, and here is your spoiler warning because these are the 6 worst things about Star Wars The Last Jedi. It was meant to be 5, but then I remembered another thing. Number 6, Finn and Rose in Canto Bight. John Boyega was one of my favourite things about The Force Awakens, and I was almost as excited to see what he got up to as I was about Rey. And when we first see him in this film, it's funny. He's got this likeability. He meets Rosa as he's trying to leave and she says she's had to taser like 4 people who were trying to take escape pods, and Finn's just like, that's disgraceful. I laughed. But then, for reasons I will get into, they have to go and find this master code breaker so they can try and break into a room on the First Order ship, despite the fact that there's never been a door in Star Wars history that hasn't opened or closed when someone shot the lock. Then we get this CGI sequence on a casino world for about 25 minutes and it just doesn't even feel like it's from the same film. If they're desperate for Rose to become a character, why not just make her the master code breaker? Then they could just go straight to the First Order ship, cut out that 25 minutes of the most boring part of the film, and not waste a perfectly good Benicio del Toro. Ryan Johnson's got to be a fan of The Last Guardian as well. I mean, this is a Fadia from The Last Jedi, and this is Trico from The Last Guardian. Not to mention that, Rose's surname is Tico. Trico. Then out of nowhere, romance. There's barely any chemistry between them at all, let alone romantic chemistry. Finn is flying into the battering ram, which is a thing, and the music builds up, and I thought, this is right. This is the right decision to make with this character. They clearly had no idea what to do with Finn in this film, but John Boyega was too popular for them to be able to just write him off at the start of the film. So I thought it made sense, give him a hero sacrifice and let him save the Resistance in the process. Then Rose fucking flies in and stops him, spouting some stupid line like, "This is how we win. Not by killing what we hate, but by saving what we love." Then she kisses him and I'm like, you know he was saving the Resistance by doing that. Like, you've almost literally just killed the Resistance by saving him. In fact, if you'll stop kissing him and turn around and look over your shoulder, the battering ram has just broken through the one barrier that your friends had up. You're an idiot. For sure. That's how you win. Number 5, Ben Solo destroying the training temple. Now, not that him destroying it was the worst thing, it's that we didn't get to see it. In episode 7 in Rey's Force Vision, we see the temple burning, and in the trailer for this film, we see the exact same shot. And I remember watching it thinking, holy shit, that's gonna be a cool scene. And all we got from Luke regarding the actual temple was, must have thought I was dead. And when I woke up, he destroyed the temple. We would just see the exact same shot that we saw in the trailer and in the last film. I don't know whether they filmed some scenes and then cut it out or if they just didn't bother, but you've got to think, it's Star Wars. They're not exactly on a shoestring budget. Number 4, abandoned storylines. The trouble with switching directors in a trilogy is that each director has their own idea of where the story should go. Now thankfully we've got J.J. Abrams back for episode 9, but so much of his setup from The Force Awakens has now been thrown in the bin. In episode 7 we got Supreme Leader Snoke, the person who somehow funds the First Order, got into Ben Solo's head right underneath Luke Skywalker's nose and turned him to the dark side, and has a scarred face to hell. I know some people weren't a fan, but I remember watching thinking, that face tells a story. I want to know the story. And then in this film, Kylo Ren kills him, and no more is said about Snoke. I mean, expectations subverted, but I've set him up to be this massively imposing character, and then to kill him off and not tell us anything, and just go, ah, yes. No, we're not doing that anymore. I'd be happy with him dying in this film, it makes sense for the story. But we didn't learn anything about him at all, it was just an unfortunate plot device. The thing with Rey's parents is just weird. I'm glad that she's her own main character and she's not just a lead because Luke's a dad or something. But the last film spent so much time saying, right, she needs to get back to Jakku because her family might come back. She thinks her parents are coming back. There's something about her parents, guys. And then in this film, Kylo Ren's just like, you know who your parents are, don't you? And she just says, they're nobody. It says they traded her for money to buy alcohol with or something like that. It's just, a poor way of dealing with what could have been an intriguing story. Number 3, Finn and Rey being kept apart. By far one of the best things about The Force Awakens was Finn and Rey's relationship. It was built up really well, and then he fights Kylo Ren and gets sliced up the spine. It's cool and tragic and great. Then he wakes up, totally fine by the way, got sliced up the spine by a laser sword about an hour ago, but he's totally fine now. No metal spine, no robotic spine, he's just fine, okay? Stop asking. But as soon as he wakes up, he's shouting for Rey and asking where Rey is, and then we get the stupid Canto Bites thing, and they don't get to see each other until the last minutes of the film. The characters deserved more. We deserved more. Number 2, General Holdo. General Holdo in this film is pointless. That sounds a bit blunt, but it's true. Poe gets demoted by Leia because he acted instinctively and a lot of people died, and that makes sense. I can kind of understand that. Then Leia goes into a coma. I'm getting to it. And now we've got Admiral Holdo, who has a plan. And then obviously she tells Poe the plan and... Oh wait, no, she doesn't do that, because if she did, we wouldn't have a story. It's ridiculous. She even says later that she liked him after he leads a mutiny against her. If she just tells him that she has a plan to get them all the way safely onto the rebel base. Poe doesn't send Finn and Rose off to Canto Boring to try and find this master codebreaker, which in turn means that they don't go with Benicio del Toro's character and he won't trade them in to the First Order to save his own skin, which therefore means that the Resistance will be able to get away onto the base and not be followed, as was the original plan. How the fuck did I get that one in one take? Poe was even totally on board with it later. He wakes up after Leia shoots him and it's just like, oh, yeah. Alright. Another unnecessary story thread. Number 1, General Leia Organa. Rian Johnson has said that after Carrie Fisher's death, they didn't alter any scenes or any way the story revolved around her. They should have done. Leia should have died in this film. Disney and Lucasfilm have already said they won't be using CGI to put her into episode 9, which is good and bad. Good because it's the right thing to do, and to CGI her in would be disrespectful. And bad because now J.J. Abrams is faced with the task of either writing her out in the opening text crawl or just recasting her. If they keep Leia in the coma, then throughout the film, each character gets to come up and say goodbye to her, including Luke, because they definitely take her down to Canto Bight, and then at the end of the film, she dies, then every character has said goodbye to her, and it'll be like the Star Wars universe waving her off. Nice, lovely. Princess Leia is done. Or assuming she does wake up from the coma, have her be the one that flies through the Star Destroyer and not General Holdo, because then that way Leia gets the hero sacrifice and it's not just Holdo getting what is basically just her comeuppance. Also, it would have been nice to see Leia maybe not in the right frame of mind, seeing as Han died like an hour ago. The Force Awakens ends literally like seconds before The Last Jedi starts, so I mean, Han didn't die too long ago. I'm sure a lot of people are going to disagree with me about this stuff, especially the Leia stuff, but films are subjective. And I've said this isn't in my top 3 numbered Star Wars films, and in fact this is my current ranking, but it changes quite a lot. Anyway guys, what were your least favourite things about this film? Did you agree with anything I said? If you disagreed, comment down below why. Leave me a like down below if you did agree with anything I said. You can click this circle in the middle of the screen to go subscribe to my channel, and remember to click my bell to be told when I make a new video. You can click this box on the left of the screen to go and see my most recent uploads, and you can click the box on the right to go and see my review of Will Kahn's film Fame.